Hey, what's up, you guys? Your girl G here. Now, look, I'm coming to you guys really quick just to do a review of Married to Medicine this past episode. I'm not gonna lie, I just got a lot going on, so I'm just gonna do kind of a little quick little recap, and also for the fact that it really kind of felt like a filler episode a little bit. There wasn't really like just super a whole bunch going on, so I wouldn't just go ahead and knock it out, and then that way I can catch up on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, y'all, because that's where it's popping off right now. Living Hip Hop Atlanta is back. And so, yeah, I want to watch that and catch up on reviewing that as well. But nonetheless, let's get into tonight's episode. Hey, everybody, go ahead and make sure you drop a like in the collection plate if you don't mind. It's free 99. Okay. And everybody else, you know, who's already part of the Juice Box crew, you know what's up. Drop it down in the comments. Let me know that you stopped by. And make sure to like the video and share. It does your girls wonders. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So we open up the episode with basically everybody trying to help Jackie get ready for the second annual Med Gala. She's in the car with who was she in the car with? It was Jackie, Simone, um Heavenly, I think, possibly. No, Cecil. Yes, Cecil was with them. So it was Jackie, Simone, and Cecil, and then Quad, King, and Phaedra. And so Jackie was filling Simone in on basically how things are going playing in the Met Gala. And basically, Jackie tells her, well, you know, I thought I enlisted Phaedra to help me, but every time I hit her up, all I'm just getting is, child, you know, well, child, which we all know that is quintessential Phaedra. And so Simone, of course, is like, this ain't looking good. Everybody, the minute I heard that Phaedra was helping Jackie, I literally just rolled my eyes because I knew it was going to be a bunch of malarkey. And so, in the confessional, man, Heavenly was tearing Phaedra ass up this episode. But in the other car, speaking of Phaedra, Quad is filling Phaedra in. She's like, yeah, girl, you know, I'm not gonna lie, you know, you might want to count your minutes because the girls are saying you ain't handling business. And so she's like, what you mean? You know, Heavenly was ready to tell everybody how Phaedra ain't pulling her weight. And so Phaedra's like, shoot, I'm tired of these girls sitting there telling me like I ain't doing what I'm doing. Like, shoot, 100,000 easy, that's no problem. And so it's like, okay, I really want to get in Phaedra's behind about this $100,000 anyway because she thinks she did something by writing a check. But no, I'm here to denounce that. But we'll get to it at the end of the episode. So yeah, Quad was filling Phaedra in on basically how everybody was feeling about her efforts toward the Med Gala. And so Jackie gets to the place, it's the event place. Heavenly actually meets them there. You know, the ladies telling them the direction of the show and stuff like that. And Heavenly talking about, have you heard from Phaedra? And she was like, she's like, has Phaedra really helped? Has Phaedra put in on what she said she was? And Jackie was kind of like, oh Lord, here we go. And Heavenly was like, see, that's why I'm here, you know, because that bitch don't do nothing. All she do is talk. And so now Heavenly has been enlisted as like the Coco chair because Jackie was worried. So she, you know, they did a little flash where she hit Heavenly up and was like, you know, I need some help. And Heavenly was like, what can I do? And she was like, I need sponsors. And so it let us know that when Jackie enlisted you, Phaedra, to, you know, get the money in, the whole point of bringing the money in is for the sponsors. Like, the sponsors need to, you know, have something to auction off that's worth a dang. For my understanding, because from the looks of it, it was like an auction event. So, you know, sponsors bring like their whatever service that they want to provide. And then I'm assuming they was going to auction it off because some people were there doing like, you know, Botox appointments, and Dr. Jackie did the O shot. So yeah, like I feel like there was just a lot that Phaedra, I'm sorry, she didn't do. But nonetheless, you know, Dr. Heavenly on the way. So speaking of Heavenly, she actually is hosting a little shindig for her son, Zach. We go out to Heavenly's little lake house, and did something happen before that? No, I don't think so. No, yeah, they went straight to it went straight to Heavenly's after that. So yeah, Heavenly's Lake House is beautiful. It really is the dream of the slaves to have, a black family or black, wealth that's going to continue through the kids, now that Zachary himself is literally getting in the same field and like following their footsteps. But Heavenly's there to host the event. Heavenly, I actually like the outfit that Heavenly on. It was cute. It suited her shape well. So when King was on the way with Phaedra and Quad, I think she got questioned about what the ladies are gonna think of King or whatever, and the dudes. And so King, he's getting, obviously introduced to everybody and everything like that. And so when they come down the hill, Quiet was holding his arm because it was like a steep ass. It was giving Giselle Cobblestone from Potomac. Everybody was struggling, trying not to break their old ass ankles because Jackie already took a tumble. She can't take another one, okay? So he grabbed Phaedra's hand and she's like, I just say grab the hand now. So then they get down. Yeah, everybody gets there. Who showed up first? Yeah, Quad showed up like in the middle. Toya kind of showed up at the end. Yeah, and they all were there. And so it was funny because when they walked in, they were saying hi to Zach. And I think it was either him or Hell. He was talking about like, oh, or no, Simone joked. It was like, get your cash app out, da 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 da. And he was like, oh man, like, no, I don't need no money from y'all. And the minute he said it, in the back of my head, I was like, nigga, like, don't you stop your blessings. The Lord, that he said, keep your hand open, never know what's gonna drop in it, okay? Like, you got people literally throwing money at you. You got, rich uncles and aunties. Let them drop a little coinage. Okay, you can never go wrong with having more money. Like, especially as an adult, you finna go to doctorate school. So I know them loans is thick, but also maybe not, no, because the Heavenly was like, how expensive school is. So I definitely believe, yeah, they probably paying for it. So that shit is expensive. Like, yeah, if they can slide you a little lunch money, a little rent money, then take it, fool. So yeah, everybody's getting there. They eat. The men, of course, y'all know Heavenly love the good, the men's over there, and the women, they separate themselves. She was like, quiet. What she said, King, she told King, she was like, King, I don't know who gonna make a plate, but it ain't gonna be me, because y'all know that's always a running joke with these ladies. That's what it was last year about making your man's plate. And it's just kind of like, oh Lord, the debates we be having sometimes over just like the battle of the sexes is just literally mind-boggling. But yeah, they eat. All the guys separate. This is where they kind of like dig into King and who he is. Quad introduced him to Cecil, and Cecil and Quad have a just a kind of general close friendship. So she's been waiting to introduce King to him, but he gets down there, of course, and this is where he gets to know Damon and Eugene. And really just kind of get the download on what it's going to be like dating a woman in this group. And we already know what that is. Of course, they had to ask how long he's been with Quad. And he said 14 months. Obviously, we know Quad just kind of popped out with him, which is fair. Like, when you first dating somebody, you ain't like, that's what's wrong with a lot of y'all. Y'all just be throwing relationships on the Instagram thinking that it make it something and it don't. Y'all put him up 1 minute and I gotta take him down 2 months later. So Quad did right by keeping him behind the scenes. So, if they made it 14 months, like, that sound about right to me. Y'all throw it in the comments to let me know. But so now the ladies are down there and really just kind of, this is really their first time kind of getting back together after that goddamn trip that ended in just pure hysteria over there with them cowboys riding like a mechanical bull. Bucket. Okay, let me get back to it. So yeah, long story short, of course they started talking about everything, the relationship with everybody. Toya kind of calls out Heavenly, and because they were like speaking on Contessa and Tisha not being there, and then Toya basically was like, now look, Contessa is feeling like we don't hold you accountable. So it's like, Heavenly, you do have to apologize for the Yo Mama stuff. And Heavenly, of course, tried to deflect and was like, now Toya, I can't promise you nothing. I want to be like Phaedra and tell you I'm gonna do something and not follow through. And so of course everybody was like dang, okay. She took a right turn there. And so now everything is deflected to Phaedra, but Toya did catch on. She's like, no, Heavenly, we talking about you. And so of course it is, now we gotta talk about Phaedra and how, Jackie don't feel like, because we all know what it is. Anytime Heavenly say something, bet Jackie feel that way too. Okay. And so Jackie, you want to sit there and act clueless to your confessional talking about, oh, here we go. But you clearly called Heavenly in a tizzy about the things that Phaedra didn't do. Now, if when Jackie asked Phaedra to help with this, I really wonder what in particular she enlisted her with helping with. And so at the reunion, I'm gonna need them to get into those specifics, because when she asked Heavenly, when Heavenly said, what do you need? And she said sponsors, like, Phaedra, that Rolodex of people that you talked to that you could have got money from, like, did you not also, like, you clearly didn't ask people, or you clearly didn't get in contact with people about them sponsoring stuff for this Med Gala. Like, so I know everybody's like, you upset that the girls is questioning you, talking about, I ain't got to do nothing to prove to you bitches. Quad said, well, we bitches, like, what kind of bitches is we? And so, yeah, Heavenly basically was calling out, well, we know Jackie is feeling like, and so she said, I'm gonna pull through. That's what I threw. Shoot, 100,000, that ain't nothing, And so they get back to Heavenly and her apologizing because they had the nerve to sit there and try to call Contessa and Sweet Tea. And Toya was like, now you goddamn can't do that, girl. Like, you don't even like them girls. Don't even want to invite them here, which, Toya, there's no reason for Heavenly to invite them to a personal family function. I get the gist of what you're trying to say to ladies, which is like, if we all gonna be around each other, like, we can't just be doing this, not invite people. But in this case, like, if it's on my property and if I don't mess with you, then I'm definitely not finna have you on my property, So yeah, overall, nonetheless, the gist is of like, people know that Heavenly is going to Heavenly. And unfortunately, because she's been rewarded with staying on the show for a long time and just kind of being like, people loving and hating her at the same time for the fact that she keep running her goddamn big mouth, that's why she's constantly, getting away with it. But at some point it is like, oh, that's just who she is. It's no longer an excuse, especially in this extent. But Heavenly is starting to act like Damon were, in the fact of it's just like, she not apologizing because people keep telling her to apologize. Like, how Damon really didn't want to talk to Greg until everybody kept asking him to talk to Greg, but he's like, I'll do it, and just kind of like, they know what they got to do. But nonetheless, what else happened after that? They were joking with Phaedra about something else. What did she say? They got with Phaedra and confronted her about not doing because everybody's gonna put in $2,500. Speaking of the money, allegedly Toya money ain't come through, which don't shock me because shoot, y'all know what she tried to do last year with her little wine club, and then this year allegedly they ain't get $2,500 and the check bounced on Phaedra's behalf. So we'll see how it goes on. But the ladies, they now leave, go get their men's. Jackie talking about, well, my man, he not here. And Toya is like, well, shoot, he be here just as much as Phaedra man be, because everybody know Phaedra man be in the just ghost, be in the dust. But Curtis ass finally showed up at this Med Gala. He knew of all places, at least show your ass up to the Med Gala. So speaking of, right before the Med Gala, Phaedra goes over to meet with Sweet Tea. They're kind of guarding her friendship. I did like Sweet Tea's hair, but she goes over to fill her in on the conversation that she had over at Heavenly's house. And, got into the fact of like, well, like Heavenly kind of feels like she's going to apologize, but she's going to apologize to Contessa. Now, Miss Sweet Tea, this is where, you you kind of need to come to the front. All right, I mean, you to come to the front of the class. So you are in your confessional feeling like Heavenly owes you an olive branch, an apology, and a, what she said, like a gift, like a, what the hell did she say, like a term of endearment or something like that. I was like, bitch, you asking for three things from Heavenly. If anything, at the bare minimum, maybe is an apology just for what she said. But like, I don't know. And she's like, why she's wanting from Heavenly something, but I know what it is because she was befriended by Heavenly. Heavenly in the beginning befriended Tisha, and so now because she flipped up on her, and I'm sure Heavenly told Tisha, oh, you gonna be with me. Like, them other girls ain't gonna mess with you, because Sweet Tea basically kind of did come on by proxy of Heavenly, what we have come to know. And so I think a lot of why there is such that just animosity that Tisha has towards Heavenlies, because it's kind of like, I don't know. There's a little bit of onus of her feeling like, well, like, bitch, F you, kind of, But nonetheless, Tisha, Sweet Tea, whatever, when people don't like you, you don't sit there and ask them for reasons why they don't like you. Like, you just take it for what it is. No, like, am I tripping? The way she was just like, she needs to explain why she's treating me this way, and then she needs to, give me an apology, and then some type of olive branch gift or something. I was kind of like, what? But Phaedra and her did hit the nail on the head of like, Heavenly's always gonna be the one to say some shit, and then at this point, it's starting to feel like, yeah, Heavenly's the loudmouth, but is she just the megaphone for everybody else at this point? And we've been knew, at least especially about Dr. Jackie, Heavenly has always been her pit bull. But yeah, so it's the Med Gala. Everybody's getting ready. I'm trying to go through the looks and think in my head. So Contessa, she looked good. I loved that dress, lime green. At first, I was thinking a little like, is that kind of for this event? Because it's like Enchanted Garden, but the green, like, it was Enchanted Garden in a different way. She took it a more retro, kind of like cocktailish way. And so I like the dress. I love the blunt haircut on her. But yeah, and so Heavenly was trying to dog her. I thought Contessa looked good in my opinion, y'all. Y'all drop in the comments and let me know. So of course Quad, like, she looked good, but it wasn't like, I don't want to say like it wasn't anything special, but it was cute, I almost wish that the white had almost like a pearl essence, kind of like that like duochrome kind of sheen over it. I feel like that would have made it just like not be just like a jumpsuit at the end of the day, because it was just like a jumpsuit. Y'all can say what you want, but that dress fit Sweet Tea actually really good in my opinion. She needed just a little bit more bra support because T, you got some fun bags on you. You got some tig old bitties. In the words of Mike Epps, them tig old bitties. 150s, big ass titties. Got the green, get in between those titties, okay? So, but yeah, the dress, the shape on her, I love the bottom, how it billowed out. I liked it. Then the headpiece actually made sense. A lot of the girls was just throwing on headpieces for no goddamn reason, and that moves me on to Simone. Simone, what the fuck was that headpiece? It literally looked like you had the dress on, but you felt like, it's missing a little something. And then you just asked somebody to stop by the store and get you some flowers, and y'all glued them on the headband, in my opinion. I did not like that headpiece whatsoever. If she was going to do flowers in her head, it should have just been like clips or something like that. I don't know. And then like the dress just gave me Little Bo Peep, but Simone ain't never been one for dressing. Phaedra looked nice. Who else was it? Heavenly, she looked nice, but I did not like the fact that her mesh did not match what her skin tone was supposed to be. It was like 2 shades lighter, or was I tripping? Dr. Jackie looked nice. It was nice and subtle. Anila was there, and y'all who took it for me, because I had to remember this. Dr. Alicia, her headpiece was what I was saying. Like, it made sense. Her face was giving the headpiece and the dress, the shape of it. Dr. Alicia was super cute. And I said this last season, I do not know why they took Dr. Alicia off. I actually wanted her and Kima to stay. I think that's his name, right? I actually did want them to stay, and um I would be interested to think what her impacts this season would have been. Of, would she be on Heavenly's side or Sweet Tea's side? Because I feel like she would call out Heavenly low key. And Dr. Alicia also wasn't afraid to say then. But yeah, and then so Anila, I liked Anila. She was funny. Then her husband was funny too. Like, I just be thinking of these house, like, of these, Married to Medicine. I mean, with Anila, she could be a friend of. Anila gets friend of. But then we are introduced to a girl, Mimi, and she's known through Dr. Greg and Sweet Tea. They know each other. She's another psychologist, and so she's there with her husband, Steve or Steven. So yeah, everybody showing up quiet, trying to be messy. What you gonna do when you see Greg? He was like, nothing. Like, that's just your past. Like, she was giving, of course, you see my man, like, you see him. I had to upgrade on him. Had to get the new one. Okay, the new model. All right. So speaking of Dr. Greg, he finally runs into Damon, and they are speaking with each other. I I'm sorry. I still feel some type of way about Damon, about his apology, but not really an apology, because yes, he acknowledged how, maybe the way he came off was like more upset or whatever, but in that moment, you kept trying to make it about him not telling you when he did tell you. That's why I'm confused, because you're like, he feels this way, but he's not telling me. Nigga, he did. Like, and then you told him, why are you being so sensitive? Because that's what you really should be apologizing for, right? Like, Dr. Damon should be saying, you know what, I don't agree with what my wife did, but I don't want that to change our relationship. What my wife did, Heavenly, like, that will be handled. But like, I just feel like Dr. Damon wasn't really addressing the part of the apology that needs to be said, which is Heavenly needs to say something, like, she was wrong for that. But nonetheless, they make up. Heavenly, speaking of, she tried to jump the gun. Damon, I need you to take me a picture. Come take a picture with me, Damon. And that's what Cecil had to be like, wait a minute, Heavenly, we getting somewhere. Like, I guess she saw Damon talking, was like, I ain't shit finna pop off with Damon. Nuh-uh, not today. But Cecil was like, we got it, girl. Like, we got it down. So we get to, oh Lord, the auction, y'all. The auction. Fix it, Jesus. So we get a trip to Morocco with no trip. That's how stupid it was. Got me stuttering. A trip to Morocco with no trip, with no flight over. Everybody know the flights is the most expensive goddamn things when it comes to these overseas flights. Okay. So they started with 4,000. Stupid. Like, I'm like, y'all do realize you still got to go up, right? And once again, people out here is broke. Like, I get it. You're in a very affluent community, but people is broke, one, and two, got the money, but is stingy. So they went from 4,000. Can I get 1,100? Like, so they finally settled the thing. It started off slow, but we started selling off, old shots and Botox and, with spa this, and then Quad, her ass came through cooking with Quad. $3,000. Ma'am, I think Quad, when she was thinking about the Med Gala, was thinking about her offerings by way of fanship, because she made this glass bowl thinking that other people who are doctors and affluent people were gonna like grab it out of excitement and want to cook with Quad. Cooking with Quad sounds more of somebody who's more of a fanship type of purchase. Like, yeah, Quad, your guess was not given. Then Phaedra, girl, they auctioned her off the block just for an old ass man, old ass cat daddy that she took on one date back in the day. He trying to get his chances back. So he bought her. Heavenly was so messy, talking about, a date with Phaedra. She said, this big money right here. This big money starting at 4,000. She was so messy for that. So, yeah, that dude, he bought Phaedra, but told her, bitch, this time you have to put out. And the fact that he said that, like, on the mic, and the way he was talking was so embarrassing. Like, we already went on the date in the past. Like, all that extra ass info, nigga, ain't nobody ask you for that. We just want to know what you gonna put in and buy or not. Like, the fact, it was so cringy, the way he kept talking about them going on a date before. It was just kind of like, ugh. What happened after that? So they get all the other stuff, and now it's time to basically count the money. And so it's giving real, bitch. We show, the cash register ain't matching. So they go to the back, count up, and they short 47,000 or 46,000 and like something change. Phaedra talking about, I got it. Heavenly was talking about, well, that's great that you do, and this is where I got to get into Phaedra, because still, as I'm saying, the point was not for you to just write a check. Like, yeah, great. Like, you just donate the money, write the check. But when she enlisted your help, it wasn't just for you to write a check. Like, it was for you to bring the awareness, get other people involved in it. That's why the damn auction was half-assed, because it was last minute. Like, I just felt like Phaedra was just like relying on, I'm Phaedra Parks, and so she ain't putting no effort into no shit. And so that's why Jackie, but also Jackie, this on you, because you should have been on it as well. But nonetheless, they go forth and write this $100,000 check and give it to the man or whatever. And then after that, we see Simone over there with Quad and the new girl Mimi. So she's kind of getting introduced. She's talking with Simone and cackling about Quad being stubborn, and all that type of stuff like that. What else happened? Contessa, she said Scott didn't come because she didn't want this to be a place where he see Heavenly for the first time after, her saying what she said. And I was like, okay. But her daughter is growing up, and she was so cute. I didn't even realize that was her daughter at first until I read the bottom of the screen. But it was cute that she brought her daughter. What else happened? Toya, shit, I forgot about Toya. I did not like what Toya had on. It was giving Fune. It was giving Hughes. Whose Fune are you going to? It's giving Sister Bridget passed away. We had to let you know, unfortunately, Sister Coleman passed away. Sister Hutchins passed away. That's all it was giving. Like, I was like, what the hell? It was the hat. Maybe the hat was too big. I don't know what it was, but I was not feeling it. And so, yeah, I think that's really it. They want to sit here at the end talking about, it's so glad we come together for a cause. But Phaedra did let it know in the confession. She said that you gonna think again before doubting me, because the reason I'm even doing this, I'm really helping your ass because of that shit you got in last season. And I was like, oh, and it was like, the fundraiser could have been for anybody, but the fact that she chose to fundraise for maternity, loss definitely is a coincidence, okay? But yeah, you guys, that really was Married to Medicine. Like I said, not too much. Y'all drop down in the comments and tell me what you think about the episode. Do you guys feel like Damon, apologize for what he needs to apologize for? Do you guys feel like Heavenly don't get held accountable? And do you guys feel like Sweet Tea, is right in expecting an olive branch from Heavenly? And do you guys feel like they should bring back Dr. Alicia? I really feel like after seeing her, I miss Dr. Alicia. I'll catch y'all later.